Hi, Heather here from a very empty new location in Nyack. I just wanted to go over some of the specific things that a new consignor might need to know about consigning with us. I find that many people don't care to read too much, so I'm happy to verbalize it and show my face. So that's what this video is, and if you are a returning consignor, you're welcome to skip this, and if you're a new consignor, hi, welcome. So I just wanted to go over the basics of our consignment split. So over the course of this, when I refer to the consignor, that is you. Our consignment split is 40% to the consignor, 50% for anything that's priced over $100. Items are marked down 25% off after 30 days, and the full term is 60 days. At the end of those 60 days, the consignor is expected to be responsible for contacting the store where they consigned their items if they are interested in taking anything back. That is to say, anything that they don't want donated, that they would bring to another donation site or whatever. If we don't hear from a consignor, then we will assume that their items are donated to the store. At the time of your appointment, which is to say just whatever time you end up coming in for a walk-in, because we don't offer specific time frame appointments, you are given a card with a suggested date for when to call. If you don't have that card, if you weren't given it for some reason, or if you've misplaced it, you can log into your account. So this is a really exciting feature that we have, which is that you have access to a personal online account that shows the itemized list of what you left on consignment, the prices, the description, the in-stock date, which is when the 60 days begins, not from the date you dropped off, but from the date it's priced, so that's in your account, as well as the status of the item, so in stock, sold, paid, expired, sold, expired, are donated are sort of the examples. So the status of an item, as well as a list of what you are owed for, which items you've not been paid for that are actively in your balance, as well as the breakdown for how much you're owed based on how much the item was sold for. And then you also have another tab where you have a payout history, which will have the check number for any checks that you've been issued, and an itemized list of what was paid out for in that check. So checks are issued automatically on the 15th of each month for every account over $50 in balance. If you have less than $50, that money does not go anywhere, it doesn't expire, it doesn't reduce, it just waits for future consignment, for future sales. You can use that as store credit, or you can wait. If you are interested in getting a check cut for a balance less than $50, you would be agreeing to closing your account permanently with us, and we would issue that check for the under $50 balance on the 15th of the month with our other checks. So we don't cut checks any other time of the month, regardless of whether you're closing your account or not, unless it's an emergency, but generally we try and stick to our policy. Let's see. I think that's generally it. So in terms of our walk-in protocol, we do not accept, or we do not make time frame appointments. So when we say walk-ins are on this day between the hours of 12 and 5 p.m., that means that any consignor who is available that day is welcome to come at their convenience within that time frame. So showing up at 12 o'clock, showing up at 3 o'clock, any of that is fine. Showing up at 5, we do ask that usually you at least 4:45, but if you have to come at 5, that's fine. We do like to be notified though if you're going to come that late. So yeah, we do first come, first serve. So consignors will arrive, we will put your name on a list if there's a wait, and we will go through, we do expect consignors to wait, or at least be present when we get to their name. If you have to step outside or go on an errand or something and you are not present when we call your name to look at your bag, you will forfeit your spot, and you can be seen when you arrive back. So we do that. We look through the items. You are welcome to bring up to 15 items for this particular cycle, which is in January of 2022. If this video is being watched at any later date, please check the email for the specifics on how many items you are able to bring. Sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 25. It just depends on what we have space for at the time. So that specificity will be in the email. Please do read that email, or at least skim the front initial bit that has the sort of bullet points. So this time we are doing 15 items folded neatly in bags or bins. We do not accept armfuls of items. We do not accept a big pile of wire hangers or any hangers at all with items hung. That does not make our job easier. It makes our job more difficult. So what we will ask, because this is such a specific, and it has been for so many years, if you come with your items hanging on hangers or in your arms, you will be asked to remove the hangers, to remove all dry cleaner bags, and fold your items neatly in a bag. We will provide one if you don't have one, but hopefully you will have come prepared with your items folded neatly. There is a picture in the email with an example of a consignor who is consistently very organized, and we do appreciate that. So I did take a picture of her bag as an example of how to bring your items in. And if you have any questions about specifics, like, I guess a question I get very often is, would a skirt suit count as one item or two items? And what I would say to that, and what I generally say to that, is we typically would count that as two items because we don't sell suits as a set usually, unless it is something really special, really fabulous, very vintage, super cool, like would be a tragedy to split it. Usually we don't sell suits together because they're harder to sell. Tops and bottoms usually fit a little bit differently. So we will typically split items like that and count them as two instead of one. The same goes for like a sweater shell and a cardigan. Not always something we would sell as a set, but I would say when in doubt, count them as individual pieces. But if you have like one or two over because of something like that, we're not gonna be mean about it. So, but we do just expect people not to, try and bend the rules. And I guess an explanation for our limits and for all these rules is that we try to make sure that we're getting through things as quickly as possible in order to not have you, the consignor, waiting too long. In addition to that, we're trying to have a great diverse stock coming in from lots of different people, and having these limits does mean that we can see more folks and accept a broader array of items. Any other questions about what kinds of things we take? I always tell people to visit the store, walk around, get a sense of our style. It's pretty broad. And then in our policy on our website near the bottom, there is a little blurb about what we don't take. In the email, it is there as well. It's sort of a brownish, yellowish box that says, what should you not bring? And that will also have a breakdown of the types of things we don't take, so you can choose, things that you'll have the best chance of selling. And right now in Nyack, we will only be accepting sterling silver jewelry. We will not be accepting any modern or vintage costume jewelry unless you send pictures ahead of time and I say, yes, bring it. We are shifting a little bit more towards carrying some new jewelry items, so I do want to have space for those. But sterling is always easy to sell and exciting to have in, so please do consider bringing those items to us in Nyack. Tarrytown is a little more flexible, but I would say most modern costume jewelry, things you can buy from mall stores or department stores or things like that, generally not going to be of interest for us. We are looking for really cool, interesting, high quality sterling silver or vintage pieces. Or designer pieces. Let's see, what else? Very important, before you bag up your stuff, please inspect items for damages. Look at the underarms, make sure they don't have deodorant caked on there. Give things a sniff, ask somebody else to smell them just to get a sense of whether they smell like a musty basement or a closet or your own perfume or oil from your cooking or something like that. Or cigarettes, that's a really common one. So these are things that if they come in with an odor like that, we are not able to take them. If they smell like perfume, we are not able to take them. They don't smell clean. These are important things. We want things to be clean. We don't need things bagged up with dryer sheets. That's not of interest to us. Please keep things neutral and aired out and smelling fresh if possible, because they're clean. So anything that can be machine washed should be before you bring it in. Anything that needs a dry clean, if you are unable to do that, or if you're unsure about whether or not we'll take it and you don't want to spend the money before you bring it in, that's understandable. It might be worthwhile to send a picture to our email and ask whether it's something we think we might be interested in, so you can dry clean it beforehand, or we'll send it back with you to have it dry cleaned, and then you can drop it off when it's done. So these are some exceptions we've made, but generally speaking, if things have been stored with mothballs, they are an absolute no, will never come into our store. So those are important things to check for. We have eagle eyes, and we're going to be looking for spots and stains and tears and other things like that. So we don't expect you to have everything be perfect. We just expect the sort of bare minimum of courtesy, understanding that these are items that you're expecting to sell. So a good question would be, would I want to buy this in its condition? Would I be excited to see this in a store? If the answer is no and yes, then please bring it in. If it's something that you're like, I don't know, I'm not really, I've worn it to death, it's looking like I've worn it to death, please don't bring that in, we won't take it. Any other questions, please call or email, and we'll be happy to answer those for you. I hope this video has been helpful. I look forward to starting consignment in Nyack with everybody. So hopefully my office will be set up here soon, so we'll be able to see your items next week. So any other questions, please reach out. Take care.